Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. That's our statutory disclaimer. If anyone would like a copy of this presentation, please put your hand up, and Verity at the back will hand you a copy if you want to take any notes. You'll just come around and hand them out. So our strategy, we're a gold exploration development company in Nicaragua, Central America. Our strategy is to permit and construct a base case 2,800 ton per day processing plant capable of producing 100,000 ounces of gold per annum, and to continue our exploration success of adding another 1 to 2 million ounces to the project. So why invest in us? We've got 2.4 million ounces of gold in the ground, so that's at today's gold price of $12.48. You can see that's about $2.8 billion US in the ground. That per ounce in the ground valuation is about $22 per resource ounce in the ground. The valuations by Royal Bank of Canada capital markets are about 110 per reserve and 73 per resource. 110 per reserve and resource ounce of 73, or a price to book of 0.9. The point being, we're about a quarter of the valuation of our Canadian peer group. We have very high grade deposit, and we have about $700 an ounce all in sustaining cash cost. That's basically our break even. We're close to getting permitting, and we think we're on a district here. We're backed by a number of serious investors, from the World Bank to Jim Mellon to Ross Beatty, and those are some main reasons to invest. I thought I'd just put this slide in and point it out for those of you that invest in the sector. We've seen all of this. So you start over here, you get this speculation and discovery phase, which we had. We found 2.4 million ounces. Sure enough, the shares went up several fold. You then get into this more boring period of feasibility studies to prove a mine, and the market loses interest. The speculators leave, and you end up in this orphan period here. That's where we are now, I think. We've just raised £5 million. We're drilling again, and we're now close to the permits, and I think we're going to get a double re-rating over the course of the next 12 months to 24 months as we, A, get permitted and go through this phase, and B, there's some speculation that comes on as to how big is this asset. Well, we've got a drill rig on the project at the moment. That's Nicaragua for you. It's a couple of countries above the Panama Canal. In the interest of time, I won't go through that more. There are 3 producing mines, and gold's the 3rd biggest export, so they like gold. Here's the project. Just note that we're permitting this area, 1.3 million ounces here. The 3 main vein sets are La India America and Central Breccia, which have 2.1 million ounces. So the resource of 2.4 is actually over 6 areas. All of these can be expanded. All those areas can be expanded. But in the mine plans we've only got 2 areas. We've got La India and America in the current schedules, which I'll show you in a minute. So there's a lot of potential to expand these small areas like Cacao or San Lucas or Mestiza. That's all our resource numbers I've mentioned are independently done by SRK in Cardiff, 43-101 reports. They're on our website, 2.4 million ounces. Those are the different categories. This is what we've applied for permits on. So 2,800 tons per day, 1 million tons per annum. In the pit shells, we got just under 1 million ounces of gold in pit shells. Recovered gold's 822, gives you 100,000 ounces of gold production over the first 5 years. NPV's 195 million, hence our price to book of 0.25. IRRs of 30%, and that excludes artisanal minor ore, which can be added in. So these are very attractive numbers. That's the mine layout. Interest of time, I won't go through it, but that's about 800 hectares of land we've got to acquire. Here are the production scenarios. So this is the one we're permitting I showed you earlier. There's your 100,000. If we add 2 feeder pits in, we get to 118,000 ounces per annum. If we add the underground in, it's 165. That's just from the America and La India area. We got the IFC is a shareholder of now about 7.5%. Quite rigorous to get them, rigorous set of criteria to get them involved, and we have to have proper stakeholder engagement plans, communication plans, land acquisition and settlement frameworks, grievance mechanisms, and all these elements. Those are big de-risks, and we are fully compliant with the IFC performance standards for a company at our stage pre-construction. Social license to operate, really important. You're not going to get a mine up anywhere in the world unless you really take into account the local population and what they're thinking. There's a big list here, but for example, the one thing we're quite pleased of is this sort of training courses, 9 separate training courses, 320 people. We trained 100 people. So we're training the population now so they can see the benefits of what comes in on the mine. Benefits to the community and to Nicaragua, well, the entire foreign direct investment in Nicaragua last year was $1.4 billion. We'd be putting in 120 million. So in that sense, we're a big fish in a small pond for them. They get royalties off the top and corporation tax. In terms of the community, there's 500 jobs. This is an old mining town. It's really, really run down. It's super poor. We think that 50% of the area is beneath the UN poverty level, and about 25% is beneath the extreme poverty level. So this really makes a difference to them. Now, the upside, I mentioned this because I think we get a re-rating as we prove a much bigger gold district. We've flown the whole area with geophysics, helicopter-borne. The areas in red are quartz rock that can taste the gold. So over here, we've about 95% of soil sampling the entire district. So here's the package. I started off one concession here 9 years ago, called Cacao. I then bought, that was 22 square kilometers. I've then bought 313 square kilometers. Here's why we're getting the permit, here's the 2.1 million in the main 3 vein sets. Right up here, we've got 142 grams on the surface. That's 5 ounces of gold. Amazingly high grade to actually see that on surface. We've got another parallel corridor to La India corridor here, which I'll come on to in a minute. So Ross Beatty's investment, a shareholder, he just put another £1 million in at 62p last month. We raised 5.2 million at 62p. We're now about 68p. We have major basement feeder zones. So these are major faults. The gold-bearing fluids come through the faults. We got 2.1 million ounces here. We've got a parallel fault here. So we're doing some scout drilling along this. What if there's a parallel structure and a bigger gold deposit that comes out of that? Separately, here's a road and a link. The whole system's down-thrown or faulted downward, and we got some excellent drill results we put out in January here. So we think we're on the way to prove a bigger district. My red lights come on here. So we've got drill programs. Right, okay. Where we think the 3 main areas we can take up 40%. To 3 million ounces, La India, America, and Mestiza. Importantly, we've got a drill rig now, it started yesterday, on the Mestiza vein set. That's never been drilled by us before, and we're targeting increasing, more than doubling that to over 700,000 ounces. Here's the share capital structure. This presentation will also be on our website. We're about £40 million market capitalization, as you can see. Jim's got about 5% of the company. I've still got 6.5%. There's our share price chart. Here's the valuation of the top 12 companies at our stage pre-construction on Canada, and we're valued at about a quarter of that valuation. We will be looking at, and we're working on a North American listing as I speak. That's either in New York or in Canada. So what's next for the project? Permits, we got this twin strategy of taking a base case through to production out of a single pit, 100,000 ounce of gold per annum. And I've just flown in yesterday from Nicaragua. I've had 2 weeks there, government meetings. We're pushing it, but I can only push it so hard, but we'll get the permits. The other part of it is to prove we've got a much bigger deposit. So we got that money in of £5 million. We're going to put 10,000 meters of drilling in. We'll expand the existing 3 core areas I showed you, and then we're going to do the scout drilling to show that, is this a major district? And that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much.